Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kudash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And yeah, we have another article here, another update. This is from zerohedge.com, and this is dealing with these food banks. Okay, as the headline says, food bank demand soars again as inflation crushes working poor. Okay, and that's something that we've been warning about, especially concerning the quote unquote middle class and downward, because that's really who are going to be affected heavily. All right, as I mentioned in my last video, a lot of Israelites are living paycheck to paycheck. All right, and so having to now balance out inflation, all right, along with, all of these economic woes, and, you're having unemployment, right? Case may happen where you might lose your job. That might make things a little harder or a lot harder. So you have a lot of people that are now resorting, which they've been doing that since the pandemic, but more and more people are now going to food banks, right? And it says here, the highest inflation prints in 4 decades have forced some Americans to flood food banks and pantries again. WSJ reports that Forgotten Harvest in Detroit has experienced a dramatic increase in demand. Since December, demand demand at the food bank has increased from 25% to 45%. In March alone, when energy and food prices soared, demand jumped 30% over the period over the period month. And these numbers, they just keep on going higher and higher, all right, each time. Okay, pay attention to the numbers. Now, in most cases, when they publish these numbers, they'll say, at the end of the month, or the beginning of the next, oh, this was the record for this, for the previous month, or year to year, record. And in most cases, they reduce that number, right? So in actuality, what you're looking at is really greater than what they are showing. All right, that's one form of damage control. Now it says Christopher Ivy, a spokesman for the Detroit Food Bank, said the need is growing quickly as gas prices are continuing to rise. Yeah. As you know, there are shortages in the grocery store, and the cost of the commodity goods are going up and up and up, Ivy said, adding this is putting pressure on the food bank. And that's the thing. People resort to food banks as a means of, well, I don't have, so hopefully, I could get something here, but those food banks are only going to be able to provide for so long. All right. Eventually, they're not going to have anything to give you. Eventually they ain't going to be active anymore. All right. And that's really where this is leading to. All right. A government takeover to ration these things. Now it says here, the hunger crisis is countrywide with a network of 200 food banks and 60,000 food pantries and meal programs. Feeding America published new data that found demand for its food assistance in February increased in nearly every food bank 85%. That was a 20% increase versus January's numbers. Okay? And those numbers are going to keep on going up as we we move more and more towards the end of the year, and the situation gets more dire. All right, you literally have lines and lines and lines of cars, where they're coming out. The thing about food, right, is it's not like you just maybe you have 20 people in line. It's not like you give every one of them a box and then that's it. You solve that problem and then just deal with the next 20,000 and then after eventually you're done. No, it's like a never ending cycle because once the first 20,000 Salakia, once the first 20,000 run out, where do you think they're coming? They're coming to get right back online. So it just keeps on going. All right, it keeps on going, but that food is not gonna always be there. Okay, it's not gonna always be there. So at some point, that chain, that cycle is gonna stop. All right, it's gonna stop. Now, for these people who, at first you might have some people that say, "Look, I've never had to go to a food pantry before. It's kind of, not something that I would usually do, right?" But now, that's where I'm at. So now they've been able to come to terms with themselves to make it there, and now they're relying on it, and now it's not providing for them anymore. Where will all these hungry families turn to when the food pantries are all out? The scriptures tell you that in the book of Second Esdras, the 16th chapter. The 6th chapter, I believe. All right. Suddenly shall the full storehouses appear empty. The sown places unsown. Suddenly. And when that happens, what are you gonna eat then? What are you gonna do then? Where are all these cars gonna turn to? Now imagine you waiting in line, right? You wait hours and hours and hours, and here it is. You get there, and then they tell you, "I'm sorry, we're all out." The red pickup truck in front of you just took the last box. So I mean, some people might say, "Hey, damn, you guys know when you're gonna have any more?" No, sorry. At this point, with the food shortages and everything, I don't even know if we're gonna get any more. Then at that point, it ain't okay. Now here it is. You tailgating this red pickup truck, following his ass. You know, maybe you might try to negotiate at first. He might not try to hear it. Now you might take other plans because eventually these are going to be things that are going to be coming into people's minds. People are going to start having evil thoughts, taking up sinister plans that what I'm saying. Look, things are getting wild out here. All right, things are just getting completely crazy out here. I saw an article yesterday. Apparently, it was a 14-year-old boy who sexually assaulted a 23-year-old Long Island mother. Broke into her crib and everything. I think it was two of them. Broke into her crib. One of them is stealing. This guy is sexually assaulting this lady and stuff. 14-year-old. You know what I'm saying? You like, what the hell's going on here? What's really going on? But when you and this is why it's a beautiful thing to have the spirit and the covering of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, because you understand why these things are taking place. Right? People are getting up and doing these things because there's a spirit. There's a spirit that's on the earth right now. That theme, right? That spirit on the earth right now has a theme. All right, and that's that chaos, anarchy, the love of many waxing cold. People just doing crazy things. That's the spirit that's on the planet right now, right? And is bringing on hardships, all right, for the inhabitants of the planet. See, before this thing is all said and done, the world is going to be begging for some change. All right, they're going to want anything but the way that the world is. The righteous are going to be seeking Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai to speeding up those days so that the Messiah can return and set things back in order. And the masses of these people that are going to believe this devil and his NWO plea, they're going to say, look, anything but this. All right, and if you got the solution to it, then we down. And truly so, they're going to be down. Okay? See, they're not gonna care what the NWO looks like when they're hungry. But what they're gonna care is their food. Is there something to eat? Does taking this charagma bring something to eat with it? And all they gotta hear is yes, and where do I sign? Right? Because at some point you get so hungry that rational thought, proper decision making abilities, all that goes out the window. You don't have that anymore. You're just thinking of just food. All right. It says here, Allison Korn, the director of the Food Law and Policy Clinic at the University of California, Los Angeles, said the pathogen demic sparked food insecurity, and today's inflation environment has made things worse. See, and we told you that. Look, this situation, it's interesting that it lasted as long as it did. Long enough to push things to a certain degree, right? Lock down things enough to push things to a certain degree. Slow down the recovery process just enough to push things to a certain degree, and then have something else just boom, come run right into that. It says, you will continue to see folks come into food banks who are seniors, who are undocumented individuals, and persons who suffer from disabilities. But you're but you're also seeing folks who are just kind of trying to cobble together jobs, who may suffer from chronic and persistent unemployment. Korn said, yeah, and that look, eventually, man, people are going to stop. They're not going to be looking for what's the right way to do this. That's how desperation works. All right, desperation is going to make them look. What is any way to do this? Forget the right way to get food. What is there a way to get it? All right. Do we need to just walk up into the store and take something? What we got to do? Now, not long ago, I believe it was over there in LA or so, they were talking about how, crime was, people were just walking into stores and just taking things, clothes, watches, belts, right? Jewelry. And they were doing that over these clothes. Well, you know what I'm saying? That's things you wear. What do you think people are going to be doing over food? Now, they're so quick to jump out into the streets over this abortion thing, right? But here it is. There's your actual food that you're going to eat into your stomach, that if you don't have, you're going to starve to death, is being messed with. And where do you see them in the streets about that? Where do you see people demanding answers as to why all these food processing plants are being burned down, and where the hell are all these planes crashing into them at? What's going on? Demanding answers. But it goes to show you how much these elites have the people in the palm of their hands. They know just what string to pull at what time. They want you to look to your right. Hey, look over here. That's all they got to do. And everybody's left. I mean, this is literally like mind control, and it works the same way every time. The Instagram posts, the Facebook posts, the people in the streets. And they know, like I said, they know what cards to pull. My body, my choice. If you're not a woman, shut the F up. All these things. Man, I mean, just Lord have mercy. And you see these things and you just think in your head, damn, the pride of this place is just through the roof. All right? They have not asked counsel at the Lord. Because there's a do as thou wilt spirit, just a demon just running wild, just naked out here, hopping on everybody, and it sees. Just go ahead, say whatever you want, do whatever you want. Right? You got people putting up corny ass memes as if to put up precepts. What do they call that? Fallopians something. If you're not a woman, shut off the effeth up. And it's just like people are just. I mean, these people they're going to be. I don't even know. Absolutely zero preparedness level. I mean, I'm sorry, their preparedness level is not even zero. It's just in the negatives. All right, no mental awareness as to what's going on. No mental stability. Okay, no firmness, no rootness. So to get hit with what's about to happen is going to be such a shock. All right, to these people's system. That's why it's going to be so chaotic. All right. Now, real briefly, I'm going to pull up this precept here in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. All right, we go into this quite often, but I mean, that's the time we're in. The times don't change, the precepts don't change. This is 2nd Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. And now you're starting to see that why is the world mentioned? Woe to the world. Why the world? Well, you're starting to see that now. You're starting to see the different calamities that are arising. Okay? That is these same people that talk shit until some calamity comes upon them, then everybody wants to humble down and become spiritual. Do you think the Most High is an idiot? That he doesn't see the things you do when you're in your comfort zone? And then you put on this little act when things get hard for you, and he's just supposed to just buy that? Verse 15, for the sword and their destruction drove nigh. So here it is. The Lord, according to the mouth of Ezra, is letting you know, and us now, what's coming to the world. All right, the sword and destruction is near. But they're worried about everything else. And the Lord has done that deliberately to blind them so they don't see it coming. That's 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3. All right, so it may hit them suddenly. It says, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, which are weapons. For there shall be a sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. You hear that? Okay, you're going to have people invading one another, which people are doing now, but it's going to be on a much higher level. All right, they're not going to regard their kings nor princes. They're not going to regard what the media is saying, what the president. Nope. Now, why are they going to be doing this? Well, what's going to trigger this? Well, verse 17, it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. So the Lord is bringing tribulation, all right, to these different cities. It says the houses shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid. All right. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. So what does that mean? That means they're going to be breaking into people's houses, all right, strapped up with weapons for leverage. It says, and spoil their goods, whatever you got, women, food, water, guns, weapons, necessities, whatever they can take. It says, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So these things are going to be going on. Hard times and food scarcity, lack of bread. This is why they're going to be breaking into people's houses, not having pity upon their neighbors, destroying with the sword, not taking heed or following what the princes or kings are going to be saying, but doing whatever they want to do. Why? Because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right, these Americans are highly medicated. All right, they're mentally, these people are not stable in the mind. So to put somebody like that in a desperate situation, they're going to do some real crazy ass things. They do crazy things now, but you wait till you want to see the beast unleashed. And the Lord is going to be using that as many various forms of judgment. Now back to the article, it says here we have had to work harder to secure the food needed to support the community. Tim Fetch, the St. Louis Area Food Bank Chief Operating Officer, told WSJ. Fetch warned that today's inflationary environment and supply chain disruptions had reduced the amount of food donated. And soon there ain't gonna be no food for them to give out. Feeding America's CEO, Katie Fitzgerald, said food banks in the organization's network had increased food purchases by 60%. She outlined costs have increased by 40%. What's important, so that's the thing, is like you got to pay attention to this double trouble. All right, double trouble. There's less of it, and it costs more. Typically, when there's less of something, it will cost more. But now it's even worse because of inflation. All right. It says what's important to understand is that lower income households are unraveling as consumer prices are at historically high levels. It's a sign that some households are at breaking points amid threats of stagflation. So now you go to a restaurant, chicken or a burger that was the size of maybe your hand is now the size of your palm. Now it's just you're looking at it like what is this? What's going on here? You're paying the same price, or if not more, because they're not getting the amount that they usually get. Okay, so things are happening. We're gonna keep on reporting on this, all right, because these things are happening, and yet once again, going to show you where's the mindset of the typical American. They're out here in the streets protesting. All right, because everybody, you gotta worry about everything else, which is all right. You do that, you do that. But just know, by the time you think it's gonna be okay to set into the streets and go and fight for your food, you ain't gonna be nothing for them to give you. They're gonna give you synthetic meats, bullets, and a karagma inside your hand or your head. But we know, pursuant to Isaiah 65:13, all right, that the Lord's servants are gonna be good. Those of us, that have, turned to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai before the evil days came, and Lord willing been doing the things that are pleasing to him, he'll remember us. Isaiah 65:13, therefore thus saith the Lord God, behold, my servants shall eat. So there's this talk, food problems here, food insecurity here, but the Lord said we're gonna eat. We don't gotta worry about how, but he's gonna find a way to feed us. But ye shall be hungry. That's everybody else. All right, behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. And you don't got food or water. That's, man. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. See, the elect are going to be like how the nation of Israel was in Goshen. All right, during the time when the Lord was plaguing these Egyptians. And he let it be known, look, I'm going to separate those in Goshen from those in Egypt. And you're going to see the plagues are not going to touch them, but it's going to touch you. Well, in this time, the Lord is going to do that for his elect. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. Yeah, because of all that pride. It needs to be humbled down, all that arrogancy, all that shit talking. You ain't gonna have the energy to talk shit when there's no food in your stomach. All right, and at that point, then you're gonna have a better outlook on life. You're gonna consider it perfectly. But that's for a lot of people, it's still gonna be too late. So there's your update, on that concerning that food. The spirit just been on me lately to just go into a lot of these articles, because when these things start to hit, it's gonna feel as though you couldn't have said it enough. All right. But with that, Lord willing, you've been informed and edified. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rucha Kudash. Until next time, Shalom.